This week, the boomers are in control, and you're absolutely going to fucking regret it. Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Cream of the Crop podcast, the best podcast that no one knows about. As you can see, it's a two-man booth again. The boomers are in control. And what cracks me up is this KJ had the all fucking audacity today to message me like I was going to be the fucking problem on Father's Day.
Like this morning, too.
Yeah,
it wasn't
like
even
early.
like a couple days ago.
And had the audacity to ask me, go, are you going to be fucking here tonight? Because I know it's Father's Day. Because for those that don't know, I am a father of a 3-year-old.
Which, yes, happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day to all the rock star dads out there, the deserving fathers who are there in their kids' lives and everything. And hell, man, even happy Father's Day to the stepdads who fucking step up, man. Like,
true. But he had the audacity to message me like I was going to be the fucking issue. And then at 8 o'clock goes, oh, hey, by the way, I got suckered into a Father's Day thing.
7 o'clock.
Like a Father's Day dinner. Father's Day dinner, bro. It's 8 o'clock. What the fuck do you mean?
Yeah. What kind of Father's Day dinner runs? Meanwhile, we never start until like fucking 11 something.
I guarantee if I look, I guarantee he's back by now. 100%.
Probably.
But whatever.
We're doing it without him.
Yeah, fucking.
And you know what, man? We're gonna keep it looser than the fucking ring ropes at WWE's Clash at the Castle, baby.
God
Let's
damn.
go.
Fucking those ropes had more eliminations than fucking a Royal Rumble match. God. I'll be surprised if Priest doesn't walk away with something because that one looked bad.
Apparently he's okay. So, it looked. I was worried about his head and his neck, and then obviously his ankle.
Worst parts, they fucking knew about it because they say something to AJ before they start the match that the ropes were loose.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not kind of try to fix that? Like, I get to some degree, there's only so much you can do, but like that does change how a match goes, man.
But
like
Jade had that botch because she slipped. Obviously Priest was the worst one.
Yeah, that one could have snapped an ankle.
Jade fucked up, and you could tell like after the fact that she was like kind of harping on it, which feel bad for her because obviously you want to have a good showing, but I think Sammy and Gable had like a slight issue at one point. Bailey and Piper had a slight issue at some point, and
I think Priest was inherently the worst one because that that one absolutely broke a leg or smashed his head on the fucking floor.
That could have ruined his ankle, and he looked like he almost smashed his head directly into the fucking apron.
Yeah,
like that was rough.
But
yeah, so
wouldn't be a pay-per-view without something,
right?
But we'll get into the pay-per-view a little bit more here in a little bit. As always, we're going to start with our gaming section, little This Week in Geek. As far as articles go, it was pretty mild this week. The biggest thing was obviously we talked last week about the Summer Game Fest, the Xbox Showcase. Ubisoft had their showcase that Monday, so we didn't know what they were gonna. I'm not a fucking mind reader, so
the day it came out, yeah. So the day the last episode came out, which was Monday night,
it was the same day they aired.
Yeah.
I've seen mixed reviews, but Olas and I did kind of glance back over it just before we started recording, just to refresh a little bit because there's a lot to go on in a week that I don't remember every single bit of information I see.
Yep.
I thought it was a good showing.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you're talking about the main reason for that Forward was obviously to show off Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows. You did have a few other things. They showed some Prince of Persia stuff, which I've not gotten into, but it looked good. If you're into that, that's cool. I do think Avatar had some DLC that was coming out. If you're playing that, I don't even know if that game was successful when it came out.
I forgot that it came out, to be fair. So, And that's not a knock on it. It's just not something I was. I'll
Yeah,
be honest. I never watched the movies,
I'm not.
so
Yeah, I'm not an Avatar guy. I think it's overrated. But if you're into it, cool, be into it, and
hey,
I
yeah,
hope you enjoy the DLC.
yeah.
What else did they show off other than the? Because the two main things would be what we probably talk about the most. Oh, X Defiant. They announced the new season, a new cast for X Defiant's Rainbow Six. It'll be, I think it was Germany, and
Okay.
they're actually looks like they're actually using characters from Rainbow Six because they showed three new weapons. One being the Riot Shield, but it's the Riot Shield that has the flashbang on it, which is inherently one of like the guys. I forget. I think it's
Flash.
Flash,
No,
maybe.
not
I don't
Flash.
fucking know.
Uh,
I play Siege and I should
I
fucking
haven't played
know.
Siege in so long.
I know my Siege people are just cringing that I don't know the name and we just called him
Yeah, they're
Flash.
but they're Siege people and they're cringe already,
That's
so
true.
it's fine. As somebody who played when it first came out
Yeah,
and played for a long time, but gave up years ago because I couldn't keep doing it to myself.
but I think IQ's the other one. There's a third one who I didn't recognize in the trailer. Um, that game seems like it's still going. I played a little bit this morning and I was still enjoying it. I officially gave up on Call of Duty till Black Ops 6 comes out. I just can't. I don't care anymore.
Wait, we're talking Siege or X Defiant?
X Defiant. Well, they're
I
both.
was gonna say don't please stop playing
I
Siege.
I still enjoy Siege, although I can't play Siege
Well,
alone. Siege alone just makes me want to commit acts of war crimes.
yeah, but then there's Siege with other people, and some of those people make you also want to commit
It
war
always
crimes.
depends
So
on who the people are. Everybody's got a place.
well, I mean, I played with those people too, so that was kind of my nail in the coffin of it. I was like,
Uh,
oh, okay.
but what else did they? Prince of Persia had some showings. They talked about DLC for the new one that had come out. That was like the 2D
The
side
2D,
scroller.
yeah.
And then they talked about some stuff with the roguelike one they had, which I didn't even know about that one. That was news to me, which just shows Ubisoft, besides main projects, is really shitty about talking about new games they have coming out.
Or we're
Um,
just not paying enough
I
attention
don't know,
to.
man. I feel like we, especially doing this, we try to stay pretty in the loop.
I mean, I agree with you, but that doesn't mean. I mean, stuff falls through the cracks. It happens, but yeah, I mean, it's also because their big titles usually take most of the conversation. You know what I mean? So like a
Yeah,
lot of shit will fall through the cracks in terms of like your smaller projects and things like that. That we're not looking at the Prince of Persia stuff the same way. I mean, Assassin's Creed
yeah,
has been a hot button issue because people are pussies and I'm sorry, I said that. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We'll get there in a minute.
yeah,
But um, people just I understand that Ubisoft has and we've definitely had this conversation before. Ubisoft definitely deserves a lot of the shit that gets dumped on them, but they don't deserve all of the shit that gets dumped on them.
yeah,
I do I do enjoy a good portion of their games, but I also set my expectations properly. Um Now, their pricing things that they've been doing recently, I'm not a fan of, but also they're not the only ones. So they shouldn't be the only ones catching flack for it. I mean, did we talked about WWE 2K24 and the
yeah,
prices of that shit. 2K in general has some really shitty practices. We've had issues with EA and this whole like, oh, you get this and this and like, yeah, don't get me wrong, for certain things I'm cool with paying a couple extra bucks for some extra features, but like I mean, what's the point at this point for we're charging for parts of the game at this point? Like
yeah,
that shit's crazy to me. And like so all of that I completely understand when people want to shit on them for it. I'm perfectly fine with shitting on them for when they deserve it. But we're shitting on things we haven't played yet. We're shitting on things we barely got gameplay for. We were shitting on it before we even got gameplay for it.
yeah.
Like we just watched the Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay, and like we joked about a couple of things, but a lot of it looked pretty dope.
Like
Like
don't get me wrong. It absolutely takes from some of Ghost of Tsushima. But that doesn't inherently make that a bad thing.
No,
Like,
and if we're gonna be fair, a lot of Ghost of Tsushima stuff kind of took from Assassin's Creed to begin
yeah,
with. The whole kneeling down into the big, big flowers to kind of keep yourself hidden in the weeds or whatever. The stealth, walk up and assassinate, the chain assassination, like all that stuff was stuff Assassin's Creed was doing for years. So like to me, I didn't go, oh man, Ghost of Tsushima is fucking lightweight version of Assassin's Creed. No, I loved Ghost of Tsushima. I just beat it
yeah,
and I loved it. Um, and I've enjoyed most of
like
Assassin's
75%.
Creed stuff. Yeah, I enjoyed most of Assassin's Creed stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean the gameplay we just saw
Paint
for
sold us on it in the first 5 minutes of it.
yeah,
Him just taking that giant fucking spike stick and destroying people. I was like, yeah, I'm getting it.
fucking
That was,
baseball smacking the shit out of this, like hitting a home run with this dude's face. I'm cool with it. Like
and
that.
from the gameplay, it looks like they've kind of gone back to the maybe not as simplified as like early Assassin's Creed combat was, where it's basically you just had to counter everybody's one attack and kill
Yeah.
them. But kind of a, I'm curious if there's going to be a like tool leveling system like in Origins and
I'm
Valhalla and
sure.
stuff. Because I know Mirage kind of does that to a degree, where you're like, it's obviously not as lengthy,
No,
but like it's like a 3-stage upgrade system, or you know,
that's fine. That I mean that seems to be a standard um, level up mechanic these days.
yeah,
Even again, look at Ghost of Tsushima was the same way. And again, if we're gonna compare a game to another game, like you said, it don't suck when that game you're comparing it to is a phenomenal game.
yeah.
So
I don't find it being what was it? I kept seeing a diet Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, that sounds like a compliment. If you're getting that close to what that game feels like, I mean, so be it. Um,
lots of people are still drinking Diet Pepsis and Diet Cokes, bro. Like that's there you go, perfect. Yeah,
um,
we'll call it Ghost of Tsushima Zero.
yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
Bam.
Like that.
You're welcome, Ubisoft. We got you. Just hire us on.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll be
Starting
your
starting
marketing
salary
department. I don't
100
give a fuck.
120,000. And I'm
Yeah, this
there.
way I can, in 10% of my yearly salary, I can buy one of your games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At
perfect.
full deluxe ultimate trio edition or whatever the fuck they go
Right.
by.
Buy your $180 super duper deluxe
Yeah.
fucking whatever the shit.
Get
Because I get an extra skin and a digital fucking art book or whatever.
get the full game and a dildo to go fuck myself with.
Yeah.
Uh but no, in all seriously, the and of all the things we complain about with them, like Olas has said, the game looks good.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, don't get it. But it
Yeah. That's all.
inherently the game, from what I see, is a game that I'm gonna enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, the detail to it, because I made a point, like I initially heard the guy talking, I go, I didn't hear like an accent to him. But you know, the details they've gone to, where it's like, okay, yeah, he actually sounds like what somebody would sound like in this area of the world and time
Well, yeah,
frame.
he had like a slight African bit of accent to him, which I mean, he was shipped in from Africa and
Yeah.
then was in Japan, like, and they're speaking English. So if we're gonna be like, oh, it takes
Yeah.
me out of the game, put it in fucking Japanese.
Yeah.
I
I
don't,
mean, that's true too.
I don't know what to do. Like,
You know, there's gonna be
you
somebody
know,
that's gonna bitch about that. You know, there's somebody on the
who
internet
gives
that
a fuck?
absolutely that is. I don't understand
Go
why they're speaking
gobble
in
a whole
English.
bucket of cocks, bro. Just shut the fuck up. Like, I don't. You can't make everybody happy, so just make me happy, and I'm fine.
Yeah, it's good
I
enough.
don't.
That's all that matters.
I don't give a fuck.
But they did
Because people
show.
just bitch to bitch. It's damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Like, that fuck.
I think this was the first one where they actually showed the female and her combat system, and
Nawe,
yeah,
not
Nawe,
right.
yeah.
Nawe, yeah.
And it looked good. My
Yeah, she's cool.
only complaint, and it's such a minute complaint that I don't care enough, but just to be kind of like, hey, we're not just glazing this game entirely.
Oh, absolutely.
The fucking like giant circle scythe whip that like cuts like the
The
entire forest. I'm like, eh,
the chain sickle,
yeah,
I think,
like that's cool, but like I just had an
whatever
issue with
that's called.
one of the attacks.
The
Just
Wyatt.
is like a fucking huge ass radius. I was like, I don't know if
Yeah,
that's exactly how
she's
that
hitting 3
works.
people at once, and I'm like, if you're doing it as like a stun move to kind of, because she didn't kill those people in
Yeah,
the gameplay, she kind of like stunned them to like break away and run off. I'm cool with that. Like if you're just using it, like it doesn't do a ton of damage. You're just kind of doing it to be like, all right, get the fuck away from me. I'm just swinging this fucking thing, because like,
yeah,
as a martial artist, like that makes perfect sense.
yeah.
If you can get an opening to just get the fuck out of there, do it. Because if you're gonna get overwhelmed by 3 dudes with swords, fucking run right the fuck out of there. Although she did have like a fucking sword on her back, I was kind of hoping to see a little something with that, but whatever.
Well, you kind of do in the outro of it because you see where she's using it. And it looks like more an assassination style, but not an actual
Yeah.
combat. But
So and it was funny because we were watching the gameplay, and I did see that they did a little bit of Splinter Cell esque, like we
turn
made
the
the
light
joke. Oh,
off.
she got the light off, and then I noticed because we were like, oh, you could still fucking see her, but I guess they're doing the like if she's in the dark, you can't see her Splinter Cell style. I'm cool. That's fine.
Yeah, because
Now that I know that that's what it is,
at
because
one
she was
point,
standing right in front of that dude, and I was like,
yeah,
how do you not see her,
there's
bro?
a
Like
point
this.
in it where she's climbing like scaling a wall, and there's just a guard right there.
Yeah,
That guy needs to be fired. That's that guy was
yeah.
asleep or something because she absolutely Spider-Man's her ass up that
That dude's
wall.
head has to come off like tomorrow, because he fucked up like heavy. Um,
It's the guy that's like, yeah, I'm probably not coming in tomorrow.
nah.
Like, let's just,
But I mean, the movement was cool
yeah.
with her, right? Like that quick stealth, parkour esque
And there
movement.
really is a movement difference. Like just watching
Yes,
how I'm
because
saying,
he's big and slow.
yeah,
Yasuke is big and
because
slow.
you made the comment of in Assassin's Creed we're so used to fighting the big bad strong arm guys, where this is one of the few where you are the tank that we
I mean,
face.
dude took his katana and fucking stabbed that guy and
Lifted
lifted him
him.
up, and I was like, cool.
Uh,
Because it's we are like I said, like we are always the guy fighting the big dude. Like every once in a while, it'd be kind of fun to be the big dude and be like, all right, I'm fucking these
Fuck these
motherfuckers up,
guys
like,
up.
and that's cool. And he was like the gameplay. He was smacking those dudes around with that fucking spike club, man. That shit was something else. I was like, all right,
We
a
did
little
make a
brutal.
joke
I'm cool with it.
uh during obviously the stealth part of it, where I made a comment of like, yeah, this is cool and all, but can we see what it looks like when 20 seconds in you fuck the stealth mission up and you gotta fight the whole
Yeah,
the
I was
whole
like,
facility?
because I did say, I said, I'm so intrigued to see what would happen if you like get caught and you have to fight your way out of it. And you're like, oh, so pretty much how I play.
Yeah,
And I was like, yeah, yeah.
when you try
And then
to,
sure as shit,
it
like
happens.
towards the end of it, it fucking happened. And we were like, oh, okay, there you go. Like that answers the question. Because people are gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna stealth my way through this. Oh, just kidding.
Just ooh, I missed that assassination. Oh, I killed this guy right in front of him. Fuck. Like, but no, I'm excited for it. That kind of sold me on it, seeing all that. Where it's like, yeah, I'll definitely. And here's the thing: if you don't want to pay full price for it, you know how you get around that. You just do the fucking subscription for a month. It's $15 and you get the game, and you get
Yeah,
the full game. It's all
right.
the bells and whistles to it. You don't got to buy
Or
DLC. You don't got to do all that shit. Or you can go fuck
wait
yourself and
till it
just
goes
not
on
play it.
sale. Yeah. Well,
Like,
that too.
it's, yeah,
But you
it's
can
a
always wait till it
sale.
goes on sale. Like hey, listen, we have games. We were just talking about it before we started recording. We have games that we're waiting for. I didn't play Hogwarts Legacy, but I want to play it because I've heard good things about it. But
Now we're
I'll get
fucking
it when it goes
canceled.
on sale. Yeah, oh well, whatever. Um,
And it's the same thing with like Cyberpunk and me. I want to play Cyberpunk, but I
yeah.
don't inherently want to pay full price for that game.
I got gifted Cyberpunk, so that
Oh,
worked
there you
out.
go. Yeah, it works.
Um, So I will be playing more of that. I played like, I don't know, probably 45 minutes to an hour of the game, just kind of like the intro stuff to
Yeah.
it, and then I got distracted with something. I don't
You
remember
sound like
what I
me in
was playing.
Starfield.
Well,
I played the first 2 hours of that game, and I have not gone back.
well, there's a difference. I enjoyed what I played
It's fair.
of Cyberpunk. You did not
It's
enjoy
fair.
what you played of
It's fair.
Starfield.
Did not.
And we are pulling for you, Bethesda, to hope that there is a turnaround to where it becomes a very much like a No Man's Sky, where all of a sudden, a couple years later, it's like actually playable.
Yeah.
So that'll be
Hey,
fun.
Howard, if there's anybody that's rooting for you, it's this group right here. We want to see Bethesda succeed. You just really keep not letting yourself succeed. Like
Yeah, now
all
give
this
me Elder
potential.
Scrolls 6, you fucks.
Oh man, we ain't getting that. Cause what did you see that they're talking about the PS6 now?
Ah, fuck.
That's like none of the people even have the PS5 yet. Like
Which is also fucking crazy to me because we're not having the shortage we were having. So
but
like,
it's
why
still.
is everybody? Why is everybody?
But the thing
I
is,
understood when it was like limited, quantities and stuff like that. We didn't have enough, and the whole chip shortage and blah 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 blah.
yeah.
Go buy a PS5.
I know
It's time.
it. Here's the thing though. At the same time, I get that
If you're
mentality.
gonna play PlayStation, like all you PS4 users, just go buy PS5.
It. I just can't rationalize like $500 for a console for me to want to play 2 games on. That's my issue, and it's the same with Xbox. I have that
I
same
mean,
issue with Xbox.
well, I think for me the difference is as somebody who has an Xbox. Um, Did you know I had an Xbox? Because I don't tell anybody. Do you know why I don't tell anybody? Because everything I can play on Xbox, I can play on my PC.
Well, now you could probably play it on PlayStation now, depending on how
Well, the way they're
they're
announcing things,
fucking
yeah,
going.
which is fine too. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a decent amount of exclusives, for PlayStation that I play. I mean, yeah, it's not for everybody, but um, you know, up until recently, Ghost of Tsushima was one of them. I'm a Final Fantasy guy, so that
Yeah,
was one for me.
but even they're talking that Final
Um,
Fantasy is going to go back to being
which
a non-exclusive.
makes a ton of sense based off of, again, they're looking at sales numbers, and sales numbers are down because the latest iteration of 7 Rebirth um only came out on PS5, whereas Remake did much better in sales because it came out on the PS4 before the PS5 even launched.
Yeah,
PS4 had, and still does have, a ton of users. I think 50%. Is it 50? I don't remember if that was the thing I saw, that the
I want to say it was close to that. I don't know if it was
it was close to
exactly.
50% of Sony PlayStation users are still using a PS4, which is insane. Um, but you have a PS5, don't you? I could have sworn you got
I
one.
talked
Why am
about
I?
getting one, and then it just never panned out because it
Ah,
was.
okay. I could have sworn you had
No,
one.
we
Yeah.
had at a point that I thought I was going to be getting one, and just life is life, unfortunately, or
Yeah.
money's going to go to other
And
things
like, hey,
sometimes.
and that's the thing. I'm not telling anybody to spend above their means by any means, but for those that can do it, and do it, right? Because we can sit here and talk all day about, PC and all this other stuff, but them PCs are expensive, brother. Like, if you can
Yeah,
justify getting a,
they
and yes,
are.
I understand what you're saying, depending on what you're playing. Again, I played Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, I played God of War Valhalla, I play,
Yeah,
all of these games that were exclusive. Now, some of them have since come out on PC. I'm I'm happy with the exclusives. Not that I'm happy with like them being exclusive, but I am happy with those specific games that have been exclusive.
yeah,
So it's not a matter of, and listen, it's different strokes for different folks. That's why they have a different game for everybody. Like everybody, some people like playing those porn games, man. That's their business. Some people want to play, borderline porn games with one hand and bitch about it. Like that's, oh man, they put a cloth between her titties, and I
I
am
do.
upset
I
now.
do
Like,
have a weird tangent. I don't know why.
go for it. I love weird tangents.
So apparently where I live, Pornhub is not going to be accessible anymore in like a month. unless you like scan your ID to the government to show that you're 18.
That's crazy.
And I go, I'll just change websites.
Yeah. There's so many other ones.
I don't think you understand how slightly inconvenienced doing that'll make me to not give a shit.
Right. Oh no, I gotta get rid of all my bookmarks. Like, it's okay.
I remember seeing that. I saw it on Reddit. I was like, "There's no way." It's for
Uh,
research purposes. I did in fact checked, and I did in fact get a fucking pop up that said in 26 days I would no longer have access. But whatever, go fuck yourself. No pun intended.
Well, they're trying to stop you from doing so.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you are above 18, but still, I don't know. It's just kind of weird, very invasive to be like, all right, scan your ID to access porn.
And this is just man, that's a poor. This comes just like 2 days after we found out that anybody 18 to 26 is you're enlisted, baby. Hope you're ready.
I'm well out of that.
Yeah,
range, so
29. So here's hoping. 29 and fat. I don't think I meet the requirement. God, who'd have thought we'd get political? This is what happens when he's not here.
We go off on other tangents that he wouldn't let us get on.
So to go back to the Ubisoft, the other thing they showed, which and I say what you want, I am a sucker for the instrumental intros, and it was such a good Star Wars has such good instrumental music to begin with.
Yes.
And especially when you get a band that's very good at it. But the intro to that was really cool, and I like the little nod they did to the old school Star Wars arcade. Where I can't remember what the name of it is, but I do remember playing it. But she's inherently playing one of the old arcade games at the start of it.
Yeah.
And of course, we're shitting all over this one too, and we've seen all of 20 minutes of gameplay.
Did we see any? So I feel like, was it last year? The Game Awards, maybe they had like a thing with a little bit of gameplay, but like
it wasn't even a lot. It was mainly a cutscene, and then showing the transition from you getting on the ship, leaving the planet, and going into space.
Right.
That was really
wasn't there something about like hiding behind cover to they were shooting at you or whatever?
Yeah.
Originally, now we did see some more gameplay in terms of like
the combat system, the
combat
space concept,
type of. It's a Ubisoft game. It's going to have some stealth aspects to it. It's going to have a lot of the same aspects of Assassin's Creed / Splinter Cell / what else was like that in terms of?
I think you hit the two main ones.
Yeah,
Splinter Cell,
but it's going to have that similar style to it, which is fine. Different settings, different attacks, different things, whatever. It looked fine so far. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not blown away by it yet. Although, like you, I did enjoy the ship combat.
Oh, the ship combat is exactly what I wish Starfield would have been. Because I just think it looks so smooth. The transition from planetary to outer space looks good. Even though we all know that's how they hide the loading. If you didn't fucking know that by now, I saw people complaining about that. Like they had just made this fucking Christopher Columbus discovery. I go, the people that played Jedi Fallen Order, what do you fucking think the moments where he has to creep between two tight fucking spaces for like 20 meters is? That's a loading time. That's a loading scene. That's what that is. Like, this has been in games for years.
Like, how great is it that we don't have to go back to loading screens though? Like, let's imagine Starfield came out with something and there was loading screens every fucking 12 seconds. Like, or, in between each mission or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine the blowback?
There's so much smoothness
of a game that would, like, that's fine, man. Hide all the little fucking loading screens you want into these things. Again, let's not overkill it like Starfield. But it's one of
You
those
got to
things where
load a
it's
lot of
like,
nothing. Okay, that's you
well,
kinda-
and I think that's the biggest problem. You know, it's just a lot of emptiness. If there was like some loading screens in between, like, going into a building, getting out of a building, blah 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 blah, whatever, you know, it wouldn't be as bad. Like, look at fucking, Skyrim. It was the same thing. Like, it had
yeah.
a couple seconds of a loading screen to go into the shop and get out of the shop and blah blah. Okay, fine. Uh, like, yeah, it's just funny to me. The things that people look to bitch about is confusing, and I mean that's a thing that irks me a ton, and especially as somebody who does the social media for the page. Um, because now I'm on the wrestling side of things, and the fucking things that people bitch about on there is fucking hilarious. And you know what it is?
If you think our Twitter is a safe space, just know you're wrong.
Because I'm gonna be an asshole. We already had a comment. I made one comment. Well, no, that's not true. I've been trying to live tweet shows. Um, which I have enjoyed, and then, a couple things happened. I got stuck at work.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to, yesterday, so Saturday for everybody watching. I was trying to live tweet at work for Clash at the Castle, and I think I got like 2 or 3 tweets in, and then, customers came in and shit. Like, my boss came in, like my boss's boss came in, and so, like, we were just all kind of chatting and whatever. So I didn't get a chance to live tweet. Um, things will happen, but I try to stay on top of it. And I made a comment about Mercedes' finisher,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mercedes Monet, for anybody that, Sasha Banks, for anybody that didn't know that that's
The WWE
her,
crowd.
yeah. Um, she has this really like convoluted finisher that just doesn't work for her body type. She is a thin, not very tall girl. Like, and not the fact that she's a girl, because you have somebody like a Rhea or a Jade Cargill, like
You
taller,
absolutely probably could do it.
stronger,
Yeah.
could probably do it, but even then, like, it's so
There's too many
much
moving parts. It's
work that it almost never looks like she hits it properly. And I think it's a combination of just not enough height. Like, she's not tall enough, and she just doesn't quite have the strength for it. And that's all I said. And I wasn't even like, oh my God, she's such a shitty wrestler and
yeah.
all this other stuff. I said, listen, respectfully, I just think she needs a better finisher because she is a talented in ring worker, but this move doesn't work. And I think these are the reasons why they don't work. And of course, because fucking Twitter, X, sorry, X, um, the amount of people that vanity search things, or like search for, and there are people that vanity search their own name, that reply to people that, like, they don't even follow, that like just mention them by name. Or like, I had a Mercedes Monet fan account, which coincidentally had an Ice Spice profile picture.
Yeah.
I don't really get that. Was like, oh bruh, shut up. And I'm like, first of all, that's a dude. Um with an Ice Spice profile picture with a Mercedes Monet fan account.
Really
Just saying.
top of the line there.
Like, listen, I'm gonna say this here and now. If you run a fan account online, make better life choices. I don't care if you like
Just
tweeting
pissed
about
off
certain things. Like,
2/3 of the internet.
I don't give a fuck. Like, here's the thing, right? So like, if you're a Star Wars fan and you want to talk about Star Wars things, that's fine. If
Yeah.
you're a fan of Mercedes Monet, or you're a fan of insert human being here, and you want to like talk about their stuff, and like you say, hey, I'm a big fan of this person, I will constantly be chatting about this person, that's fine. But if your whole account is just like, she can't do nothing wrong, look at this picture that everybody else has uploaded, and it's like, dude, get a life. Like, I don't know, it's just weird to me. Like, I don't know how Twitter engagement works, like how much it pays, but I hope it pays enough for you weirdos paying for Twitter Blue and fucking engagement farming, which I thought Elon was supposed to ban all the engagement farming people.
I
And
don't
now we
know,
have people
man.
just posting like shitty takes for rage bait. I'm assuming it has to be because that seems to be all we're doing these days. And it's like, all right, we're
Easiest
just
way
gonna
for
rage bait
interaction.
so that yeah, if you just say something that you know a bunch of people are gonna be like, oh my god, what are you doing? And like, of course, these morons fall for it. You know how much I like read these things, but I never actually like fucking reply to anything because I'm like, I'm not giving you money. Like,
Yeah.
fuck you, bro. Like, you're not even trying hard. Like, ah man, like this is crazy. I actually that goes into another line of uh lazy formatted things that I sent to you earlier today. What did I say to you earlier today? Do you remember I
Oh,
sent you a TikTok?
one of us has to become the dumb one for us to get views.
Yeah,
I volunteer as tribute. It makes the most sense.
I did laugh at that. But that seems to be a big format thing right now too, where like you have the one guy who sits here and says things normally, and then the one fucking like missing brain cells, half a schmuck fucking coming up with the most stupidest things to say possible. And then you're like, oh wow, that guy's so funny because he's so stupid. And it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, because there's a lot of TikTok ones that are like that with the podcast for it. And it's not, hey, let me phrase it this way. If you're successful doing that, cool. And I'm not shitting on you for it. Live your life. If that's what gets you views, get you views. I don't get it. Like
I
it generally
can't
makes
too.
me more angry than it does anything. And then I go, I don't even know these people. Why am I angry?
Well, and you know what it is, and it's like, so listen, we could sit here and be like, oh, we're bitter, we're jealous because we're much smaller format right now and much smaller.
Joke's on them. John Cena follows us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he follows a lot of people, but that's besides the point. Shout out to you, John
Yeah.
Cena. You'll never see this, but shout out
There's
to you.
always a spot on the
Uh,
podcast. Always. We'll
Absolutely.
absolutely kick KJ. Well, it probably shouldn't be him.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of
No, that's true.
you.
We'll add a spot for
Yeah.
you. It's fine. Um, but I can't imagine, and it's the same thing. We're both streamers, right?
Yeah.
And like I can't pretend to be a caricature of some sort just to get views. Like that's just not who I'm gonna be. I will be me, and if you don't like it, that's unfortunate but understandable. If you do like it, thank you for enjoying me, and I hope you continue to enjoy me further. That sounds terrible the more I say that,
I'll
but that's
always
not the
enjoy
point.
you, at least for the next 30 days.
Atta girl. Um, wait, why only 30 days? Oh, well,
It's the
yeah, because
porno thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Called a callback.
but no, it's. I think that's part of it. I feel like either you are that stupid, and the one I sent you, he is genuinely that stupid.
I'm trying to
Um,
remember who it was because I remember us having that conversation. For life of me, I can't remember what it was. The one you
it
sent.
was Bert Kreischer.
That's right. Yeah. And, and not to shit on them. I generally like them, but like here lately, they've had a real dramatic. Just I feel like since the Tom Brady roast, especially like because
Yeah.
they did not do good on that.
For context, it was a clip of Bert Kreischer not understanding that Japanese people don't count in English.
Sounds
Like
like he works for Ubisoft.
it's
Uh,
weird. It's isn't it amazing that other places speak other languages? And he's like, oh, do they use different numbers? No, they use the same numbers. They just have different words for them because that's how languages work. You fucking moron. Like, so I went. I just don't understand because like there's another podcast where it's like the two guys and the one guy is like the dumb one and
you
always
talking about
comes up with
the white guy and the like they're
and the
both
black guy.
like
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's the one that irritates me the most because I just go, there's no way. Like,
No.
I've met some dumb people in my life, but there's
Yeah.
just some shit that gets said on that podcast, and I'm like, there's no way this guy's that dumb. Like, this has got to
No.
be a bit. This has got, and if it is
It
cool,
has to.
do you like that's if that's how what works for you,
Yeah.
find what works and make it
And don't
work.
get me wrong, some of it's entertaining, but I have to look at it and go, how genuine is this?
Yeah,
Like, how? Like, and if you're playing a part, man, play the part. Like, it is what it is. But like, I just can't pretend to be stupid or like, I see the running joke, and it does make me laugh because it's like they should make podcast equipment like $1 million per equipment piece and blah 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 because like a lot of these people don't deserve it. And like, hey, listen, if you feel that way about us, it is what it is. Like, and that's okay. Like, we're not going to reach every audience. I mean, shit, we talk about niche things that like a lot of people aren't gonna want to pay attention to,
Yeah,
right? Like,
we're casting a broad line in a deep pond, and
right, we're
that's
talking about
fine.
gaming and wrestling, which is some of the nerdiest shit we could talk about. And like, yeah, maybe we could talk about other things to get more views, but like, do we want to do that? Like, every once in a while, we'll talk about a couple of things. We talked about the WNBA
Yeah,
last week, 2 weeks ago,
yeah.
whatever it
I
was.
think it was last week.
Listen, hey, touching on some stuff here and there. I mean, I know the two of us are more sports fans that
Yeah,
KJ isn't, and that's okay. KJ is your typical AEW fan. He doesn't like sports, and no, I'm just fucking around because I did see something with that too, and it was kind of like it was just a funny joke. But so don't take offense, AEW fans.
or
I
do go fuck yourselves. I mean,
well, I mean, if you're gonna take offense, it is what it is. Like everything we do and say here is more so for our entertainment,
yeah,
and we just hope that you're also entertained. I tell that to people at work
yeah.
all the
We
time.
we work 40-hour week jobs, guys. I mean,
Yeah,
we're not doing this for the bread and the butter, and I think that's what makes this more authentic. Is we're not doing it to pander. We are gonna talk about stuff we like to talk about. We're gonna do things we like to
not talk
do.
about stuff we don't want to
Yeah,
talk
if we
about.
don't give a
Yeah.
shit, it's not gonna come up. And
Like, hey, listen, we've changed our format a little bit since the initial start. We were pretty much doing like results. We were
yeah,
going
just going match by
reviewing
match.
results, and like,
That doesn't work. That's not for
hey,
us. That's
listen,
boring. That's
we're
boring for
we're
us.
yeah, we're gonna bring up TNA pay per view, right? Because it just happened, and some things happened. And I have a whole. Oh, you can't
Can't
really
even
see it.
fucking see
I
it.
have
But
a
yeah,
whole I have a whole shit here for the TNA pay per view. Every result, I wrote it down. We're gonna talk about three of those things.
yeah.
Like the more I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't give a fuck about. And it's not. I'm not shitting on those matches or anything. I just don't think it was
Not and
worth talking about.
to quote
Um,
the all knowing Dave Meltzer, not every match is a 5-star match.
right,
You
and
know,
that's okay.
and that's doesn't make
And
it bad
like,
matches, but it doesn't mean we're gonna fucking talk about it either.
and that
Wow,
doesn't mean that the
this is gonna
ones.
be the fucking this is how we do shit kind of podcast. So that's fine.
Yeah,
That's cool with me.
that's okay.
Get some shit
Like,
off our chest here tonight.
and hey, the thing too is like the matches we are going to talk about aren't necessarily 5-star matches either, and that's okay. Like, we're just going to talk about stuff that we found interesting. Like, I'm going to bring up a couple things that I found interesting. If you want to bring up anything you found interesting,
Yeah.
fucking go for it.
Because we were talking about this,
Yeah,
we were looking, we look at, because basically for anybody that cares, the way we do this is we gather from what we watch, and then anything we don't watch we look into and kind of play by play it. But
see if it's something we want to
yeah,
touch on.
like we talked about AEW, there's not gonna be a lot of AEW tonight because AEW's been dry the last 2 weeks, and that doesn't mean there
Which
hasn't
is
been good matches. There's been good matches, but it's the format of, do you want me to sit here and go, this is what they did, they flew here, they flew there, they did this, they did that.
yeah, we don't
That's
need
boring for me.
a breakdown of like each thing.
If you want that, go watch the match. Like, that's the mentality I have, is I'm not gonna do that, because you could just go watch the match and it would be more entertaining than me giving you a
Describing it.
Helen Keller presentation of the match. So
Like, I can see it in my head as you're describing it. Like, no,
yeah,
just go watch it.
um,
It is what it is.
but
No, it's and I did want to get some of that out because I do feel like we I want to stay authentic to me.
yeah,
I want to do what I want to do, right? Like, it's our podcast. So we're going to discuss the things we want to discuss. Um I told you a story. I had a podcast years ago, and the person I had the podcast with allowed himself to get distracted by a comment of, "Oh, well, are you only going to talk about this thing?" And it was like, "Okay, sure." And I'm not above criticism by any means. If somebody puts a comment somewhere and was like, "Hey, why don't you try doing it this way instead of that way?" I'm open to suggestions if I think it's gonna be worth it. Now, if I see your suggestion and go, I ain't fucking doing that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not saying like, hey, fuck you for even recommending it.
Yeah,
Unless
it's not out of
unless you,
disrespect. We don't think you're wrong. We don't. It's preference.
yeah.
That's what all this is
Hey,
preference.
listen, that might work. Maybe it doesn't work for me, right? And unless your comment is like, "Hey, go eat a dick and stop talking," like then that's not gonna happen. One, I don't like eating dicks, and two, I don't feel like stop talking. So I think we're good. You know, that is what it is. But yeah, dude, we're in weird form tonight.
It's the Boomer podcast, bro. That's what.
And it's the lack of KJ has really put us in like a weird
That
fucking
was the
dynamic
one
of
thing
like
doing this the
let's
first
just
time. We never realized KJ was the one that kept us on a time frame.
on yeah.
Like because we talked about it the first time. We were like, oh, it shouldn't be too bad. We'll be able to keep it. Nope, fucking 3 hours. Just nonsense. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
we're the problem.
I'd be intrigued to see how it goes the other way around, if it's just me and him or just you and him.
Yeah, see what it's.
I would be intrigued to see how that goes.
But see, that's the other authentic part of this is we're three guys that we're genuinely friends. Like this isn't like we decided, hey, we could do this and make it, figure it out and put it out there. We're three guys that genuinely enjoy talking to each other about everything, and that's the whole point of it. And we've reiterated this, but we're gonna be authentic.
Yep.
We're not bought and sold. We're not if it's shit, it's shit. If it's not, it's not.
And you know what? Like, yeah, I mean, obviously, we're not making any money on this currently.
Yeah.
Right. And if down the line we start to make money on it, that's amazing, right? It's the same thing. If anybody's ever followed me before, I have said the same thing about streaming. I have made some money off of streaming, not consistently, not a ton.
We're not going full time anytime here soon,
No, I mean, don't get me wrong, that would be fantastic. I would love to get a big enough audience for that and have it be a fun community of people that genuinely enjoy what we do. But I need to, again, it needs to be a genuine enjoyment of what we do and what we offer. I don't want it to be like, oh, well, I kind of wish you guys would do this. Well, that if it's not something like, hey, if we heard that and like we discussed it and went, I wouldn't mind talking about that. Would you mind talking? And like if we all agreed, yeah, cool. And that's why I said like we're open to shit, but like it still has to be within the realm of what the fuck we want to do.
Yeah, y'all should see our fucking Discord chat as far as just us just sending. Hey, do we want to fucking bother with this? Is this Right. Hey, I think this is interesting. Do you think this is worth even bringing up? And we're blatantly honest with people and each other, like where it's like, yeah, like I don't pass. Like there's been plenty of times where like, and I'm bad about doing it to KJ, break his heart. He'll throw some stuff up. I'm like, bro, but I mean, that's just it's we do this for fun, and it's like you said, if we ever get to a point where we max out an audience, that's awesome, and we'll be true to that the same way we are true to it now. The goal is authenticity.
Yeah,
I want you all to enjoy it, but at the end of the day, we have to enjoy what we're doing,
right?
Or this is there's no fucking point. You see a lot of streamers nowadays that have lost that because they've done it for so long that the fun and creativity behind it's gone.
Or they have to continuously be a caricature of themselves almost to where it's like, all right, well.
I'm not Dr. Disrespect. I'm not putting on a fucking fake mustache and sunglasses and that's not to shit on him. It works for him. He's successful doing it. But that seems exhausting.
Yeah.
Like,
and I mean, like if you were doing that for anonymity, I could understand.
Yeah, you don't want people to know.
There are people in the past that have wore like masks or whatever.
And I get that too, because people on the internet are fucking crazy.
Actually, speaking of, you know that guy, what's his name? Justin Dunley, hey, did you know? And da 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 da. And then,
Justin Nunley. They're fucking showing up to that guy's house.
Yeah, I just saw that post. So
he is way nicer than I would have been. My response would have been me loading around into the chamber.
Yeah,
that's the thing. If you ever figure out where I live, fucking try me. Absolutely try me.
Well, let's not invite that because
like because
just don't.
That's just people don't. Like that are fucking weird. Like that's so,
and that's why like I had to have conversations with people in my chat and in Discord, and that same person's in your Discord. Very, very nice person, very sweet person, but very innocent.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how innocent. Like I had heard about, like, to an extent, innocent, but when you hear innocent, you're thinking
Yeah.
like, oh, like they don't understand like sexual jokes or whatever, whatever, blah 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 blah. And this is a 23, 24. I don't remember how old they are, but this is somebody in their early to mid 20s at this point. But like a couple years ago, they were saying stuff about the company I worked for, like in my Twitch chat, and I was like, can't do that.
Yeah.
They were talking about the town I lived in. Let's not do that. You know, and I had pulled two of my buddies aside that was playing with me and had said something, and I was like, I think I got visibly annoyed during stream, and like after the fact, I like pulled them aside and was like, I don't ever want that going out there. And again, it's not that like currently we have a huge platform or anything, but like this shit stays on the internet forever, man. Like anybody could
One
clip
Google
anything and
search.
go back fucking 5 years from now and go, oh shit, I heard he lives in such and such town in
Yeah.
such and such place and blah 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, I don't need that information out there. I'm a very private person. I'm a very honest and upfront person, but if I can help it, I'm a very private person.
Yeah.
I don't need people knowing where the fuck I'm at. I don't need people knowing where I work. I don't need, and again, because the world we live in now, if somebody found out where I worked and then like somebody disagreed with something I said and then claimed it was something worse than it was, and I get fired over fucking going, oh, well, I like I want to play Hogwarts Legacy. And they're like, oh my God, you're one of those people. Or
Yeah.
if I said, oh, I don't like this, and they're like, oh my God, you're a racist because you like WWE instead of AEW and blah, which I do like WWE and I do like AEW. So I don't know. Does that make me like only half a racist and rape apologist? Or like I don't know how that works. Like, you know,
But even, I mean, and even to go further, these names that are below our fucking our heads, these are like secondary name. Like this is, I answer this almost as much as I do my actual name.
yeah,
Because this is, if you want to get into persona, this name is the persona of my internet. This is the what I go by. You know, you're never gonna hear other than like you and I in a personal conversation, or where
yeah.
we follow each other on actual social medias and know who each
Each
other
other's
are.
names. I've sent you things in the mail. I know your name.
Yeah.
You know my name. I've sent you things in the mail.
So like
Like,
I'm not throwing that shit out there to everybody. To
right.
everybody that I'm not personally close with, my name's Onyx Steve. That's how that works.
Yeah,
And there's people that use their real names, and cool.
that's okay.
Do that if you are confident in yourself being able to can do it. I'm not. Much
Right.
much like Olas, I work a very specific type of job that I don't. And it's not to say that I'm spewing bullshit,
No,
but I play
because
with
I'm not.
people
I'm
that
not worried.
do. I do. I
Right.
unfortunately play with
Yeah.
people. I can't control the people that I play with that come off with some very out of pocket things. KJ being one of them sometimes. Who
It's so funny to me.
you got to be careful nowadays, because I don't ever want to think somebody to think that I'm misconstruing a point, that I'm this or I'm that. I love everybody. That's I respect you as long as respect is shown. That is how I've always been.
Yeah.
That it's a two-way street, and it's not based on what you look like or what you believe in or who you love. It's based on how you act.
Right.
That's end of the time. That's how
Agreed.
I am. But
You know what's funny to think about? And I think because he doesn't stream, he might not fully get that. I think when it comes to you being on stream, I am probably like the nicest person in terms of like making sure that I don't put you in a bad spot. But boy, when we are not recording or streaming, I am the worst one of all of us to like say things and like which I'm proud of myself. I pat myself on the back for it. I don't care. Like it's not like I said edgy things and then blah blah
yeah,
blah 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 and like I learned how to say curse words for the first time, so I said this like derogatory thing. No, I just say fucked up shit for fun. Like, and not like I'm going out of my way to hurt people. We just have fucked up humor
yeah,
and we use that fucked up humor to
Cope.
make each other pop and like, kind of just fucking, get through the day. I use humor as a coping mechanism. I use humor as like a way to de-stress myself,
Yeah.
which gets me in hot water with people every once in a while because they might not understand it and think I'm not taking things seriously. But like, it's either that or I get angry, like in a not fun way. It's one thing when I'm like going on my rants and being an asshole about it,
Yeah.
but I'm still trying to like do it from a place of like funny,
Yeah. Oh, the
Whereas
best
like
part's when Mama Onyx is a part of it. Because I got some friends that don't understand our back and forth.
right.
And absolutely, if you were to never understand us, you would hear some shit that we go back and forth with that you would be like,
Yeah.
that needs to be a CPS call. Like it's
Yeah, yeah.
uh but there was at one point I'm sitting in here and I'm working on a few things and I have some buddies in call and she comes in and she asked me to do something. She's that wouldn't be too much trouble, would it? I go, no, you're no more of an inconvenience as you are any other time in my life.
Yeah.
And I go, guys, she knows I'm joking. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get it
Right.
done. But it's just that humor. Not
Oh,
everybody
I
understands it, and unfortunately, if you come off with it in wrong scenarios, but
I say goofy shit to my wife all the time. And she's funny because like she knows who I am.
yeah,
We've been together for almost 14 years, right? It's like she knows who I am. Uh and every once in a while she'll say something along the lines of like, "Why do you have to fuck with me?" I went, "You knew who you married. Like, I asked you to marry me and you agreed to it. Like, I don't know what you thought was gonna change, but like, I'm still gonna be here. And like, I fuck with you far less often than I fuck with everybody else, but
yeah,
like, I still fuck with you, and I do it from a place of love. Like, I'm not mean to you, and she knows that. It's just every once in a while, I just kind of pick on her for something, and then but she picks on me back. It's fine. That's just the way we are. And like, hey, listen, we don't fight. We almost never fight. We just fuck with each other.
yeah.
Like that's to me that's healthy. Right? Like
No,
we're
I
not
don't
being
disagree.
passive aggressive. We're not like fuck, you know what I mean? Like that shit's for the birds. I don't need all that. It's
Oh,
like,
that's what they got told the wife here lately is like, just be fucking straightforward. We're too old for this ring on the rosy. I'm too
right.
stupid and I have too short of a patience to go back and forth. If you're mad about something, just tell me what you're mad about.
Just tell me. Yeah, just pull me aside and be like, hey,
Like
you know.
if you're pissed about something, that's fine. Let's be pissed together. That's fine.
Because like a big thing for me that people might not understand about me is like I play devil's advocate a ton.
Yeah.
I try to see every side of everything and try to, hey, listen, I see where this is coming from, but I also think this. Like we've had that discussion about a lot of things. Like, yeah, I can understand. I mean, shit, we were just talking about Ubisoft, right? I completely understand a lot of the shit that they catch. I do. I get a ton of it, and I can understand why people are weary about certain things. I can understand why people are nervous about certain things. I can understand why they don't trust Ubisoft. We made like I'm not going to pre-order Assassin's Creed, and I'm certainly not going to pre-order
Star
Star
Wars
Wars
Outlaw.
Outlaws. Um, I still look forward to both of them, but I have been burned by them too. Not to the level that I think some people haven't. I'm not discrediting those people, but it is what it is. Um, but yes, I'll play devil's advocate for a lot of things, and it's gotten me in hot water with people like in real life because they don't understand that about me or they don't know that about me, and
Yeah.
like they take it in a way that I'm like, well, I didn't say that like I'm for this specific thing. I'm just saying I can understand where certain people are coming from, and then of course you always have the psychos that are like, all right, well you ruined it, like
Try to make a point, you fucked it up.
yeah, you son of a bitch.
But as we slowly climb down from our soapboxes that we're on, uh let's head dive into a week of wrestling.
You're wrestling.
Little wrestling for this wrestling podcast.
Yeah.
So we had two relatively decent pay-per-views. We had Against All Odds for TNA with some cool stuff happen. And
Yeah.
then we had some Clash of Castle stuff where some
Hmm.
okay stuff happened. I mean, it's
Yeah.
about on
Yeah.
par for a WWE pay-per-view.
Uh,
Um,
I will say it wasn't a terrible show. I did see a lot of people say it was like the worst show of the year in terms of just wrestling in general.
yeah.
I I mean, I'd have to go back and look at them all again. I don't know. I mean, that's either a good thing because that means in the sense that we've had just a lot of solid
Pay
like
per
pay per
views.
views or PLEs or whatever, um, which this wasn't inherently like a terrible
I would find it, to
match.
me, as the wrestling was good, but the storylines, this was the one I was the least engaged in as far as like the storytelling
Um,
aspect. And I mainly revolt like the Piper Niven Bailey. I wasn't invested in
sure.
the
That's
AJ
I mean,
Cody. I was barely invested in outside of him kind of doing the Mark Henry retirement
right.
thing.
Yeah. Um,
Um, I'm trying to think because what,
Priest and Drew, I was cool
yeah,
with.
that one's,
I like I know Priest gets a lot of shit. I like Priest. I
yeah.
do. I like Priest a ton. I love Drew a ton. Like, um, and results wise, was it what people wanted? Probably not. But I completely understand why they did it, and
Yeah.
we'll touch on that in a moment. Um,
I was
the
most
women's
invested
tag
in.
match
Yeah.
was,
It was okay. I
wasn't a
mean,
ton of investment in it,
yeah,
but I think it was fine.
it ended the way
Results
I
wise,
expected it. I
and
kind
I'm
of,
okay with that,
yeah.
right? So we can get into it because there was only 5 matches on
Yeah,
the
so
card.
we have plenty of time for that.
This one we can actually like
It's
go
not
base by
AEW where we're
base,
going 13 in and it takes us an
like
hour and a half.
10 matches, and part of that too. So we got to find a middle ground because I do think 10 matches might be a little bit much for a pay per view. I think seven's probably your sweet spot.
Yeah, because I feel
I
like
think
five
seven
isn't
would
enough.
be five isn't enough, and the problem is the format that I hate the most right now about WWE events um, is the fucking 10 to 20 minute waterboarding of ads that they give you in between each match. It's a fucking 3 hour show with 5 matches on it. Was it a 3 hour? I don't even know how long the show was. I think it was 3 hours.
I want to say it was 3. Yeah, and you got to
It's
think that's
around a 3 hour mark,
around
and
3
they have
hours, and we're
five
five matches.
matches.
So how much of that
And like,
time? Yeah,
yes, the matches went longer because it's a PLE or pay per view, whatever, blah 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 blah. But um, either shorten the pay per view or add more matches. Like,
yeah.
there's more stuff that they could have added in, more matches they could have added in. They have other stories being told. They could have thrown something in there.
Hell,
Okay,
I'd
you
have been
don't
fine
have
with a Braun Breaker. Put the Braun Breaker storyline on Clash of Castle.
right.
Didn't you have to be inherently a
Uh,
match? Just like something that furthers a storyline, or
no, we could have used at least one, maybe two more matches. Would have been fine.
yeah.
Throw in like a tag match or something. Throw in neither of the tag titles were
That's
defended.
true. I didn't even think about that. Neither.
The women's tag titles were defended. Um, like Liv didn't defend her title.
No. Which, in
Bailey
all
did though.
fairness, they're
Okay, so
Liv's. They're not. They haven't really set her up with anybody yet because they're
no, she's
mainly
more involved
focusing
with
on
Dom,
the
which
Dom storyline.
got to be Dominic Mysterio. Right? No, anyway.
There's one motherfucker didn't deserve it the most. Is that asshole?
But yeah. So neither of the men's tag titles were defended. Intercontinental nor US were defended, and no, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Intercontinental
I'll
was.
say
What the
Chad
fuck am I
Gable.
talking about?
Yeah,
Sorry,
the
the US
United
title
States.
wasn't defended.
Which they're setting that up, obviously. Now
Yeah, Logan Paul and
much
LA
like
Knight,
this
which
podcast expected.
yeah, they're gonna be doing it for. I think SummerSlam. I don't think they're gonna set it up for Money in the Bank. I think they're gonna do it for SummerSlam.
Does
Which
money back? Jesus,
Money back?
Money in the Bank happened before SummerSlam.
Yes,
Is it
because
okay?
Money in the Bank. So SummerSlam, unless they moved it, but SummerSlam was traditionally in August. Hold on, let's find out. We'll find out together right
Yeah.
now because I thought it used to be the format was June or July was Money in the Bank. August was SummerSlam. Let's see. SummerSlam 2024 is Cleveland.
Ooh.
Oh, doesn't fucking tell me. I just want the date.
Good.
August 3rd. Okay, so then we're in June. Yeah,
June.
so July
Mid
would have to
June.
be
Yeah. Would have to be Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank 2024. Because they're going to be, are they in Toronto? Yeah, so they're in Toronto July 6th.
Okay.
Oh, so that's a
Man,
couple weeks
right.
away,
Yeah,
actually.
say we're
Yeah,
only
that's.
a few weeks out from that.
And then they'll
Weekend
have
after
a
the
month
4th.
of build up from Money in the Bank to
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, which is good because I think 2 to 3 weeks is a little bit much. Um, in terms of maybe a little too quick. We talked about. I think even last week we touched on AEW's pay-per-view schedule because they don't run monthly pay-per-views the way.
No.
Oh, they are starting to incorporate more, which I think is fine. Um, we can argue that maybe WWE does overdo their events because they do run one every month, or they also now have. Did they have a? When was the Saudi show? Last month?
Last month.
Did they have another event last month? Other than was
I
it?
don't think so.
No. Did they? I think they're now using because they did have the Saudi shows mixed in as
With
just like a
actual,
separate
yeah.
event with a monthly. So I think
And that was too
if they're going to
much.
use the Saudi shows as like a monthly pay per view, then that will definitely be fine to dial it back. I do enjoy that they're just going overseas for a lot of stuff because you are getting an opportunity to perform in front of fans that haven't had.
I thought you were saying in front of France. That's I thought you were
Well,
going.
France was one of the,
Yeah.
obviously the crowd was great for that. But I do think it's cool that they're performing in front of fans like internationally that don't get a lot of the product.
Yeah.
They're not going to like SmackDowns in Germany every once in a while. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it's just kind of cool
No,
for
I
them
mean
to.
it's there's been a lot of good changes since you've had management changes.
Yeah.
There's still some issues, but for the vast majority, I think it's been a very positive change of pace.
Yep.
Um,
But yeah, two weeks in between pay per views is rough. AEW I think got hurt by that because they had three pay per views last year. They had was it three pay per views within a 4 week span or something like that. Because they had All
I
In and All
know
Out like a week
within
apart, and
yeah,
then like 2 weeks later they had shit
yeah,
was it
it's on the tip of my tongue because I
fuck it wasn't the not Wembley, that's All In. It wasn't the one in New York. I think it was or maybe it was last year. I don't remember. What the hell's the name of it? Forbidden Door is the one that's coming up. Double or Nothing just happened. Forbidden Door is coming up. Oh my god, why can't I think of the name of this
I'm
pay-per-view?
checking. I'm checking it.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why I'm blanking on the name.
Full
Um
Gear.
yes, fuck
Yeah.
me. When did that take place? It was like a couple weeks after, like
Uh,
2 weeks after All Out, I think.
let's see. Here. To tell you. So this was the lineup for 2023. You had
Okay.
Revolution March 5th, Double or Nothing May 28th, Forbidden Door June 25th, All In
Okay.
August 27th,
Yep.
All Out September 3rd, and then
Yep.
Wrestle Dream October 1st. So there was about a month
Oh,
between All
okay.
Out
So
and
there
Wrestle
was,
Dream.
and then when was Full Gear?
Full Gear was November 18th, and then World's End was the 30th.
Uh,
So it's mainly
December.
that summer into late or summer into early fall is a really jam packed where you're getting the all in all out Wrestle Tree. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not
because like
super
if you
close,
have
but
one
it's
like
still
every other
close.
month or whatever,
Yeah, but the thing
um,
is, they're not consistent too either. Like you have a March, and then you have an into April, almost into June. You have an
you mean
ended.
May into June.
Is
Yeah,
that what did I say? April into
you said
June.
April. Yeah,
Yeah. End of May into
I
June,
knew what you meant, but yeah,
and then you have end of June, and then nothing in July,
which is fine,
August.
right? And if you're gonna take time to like build your shit up,
Yeah,
and that's what I mean. Like AEW not running an event every month, I think is fine for them because it gives them more time to build stuff up, um, to like take their time and they don't have to rush. And that's why I think 2 to 3 weeks in between pay per views can be rough because now, all right, so the next pay per view is
For
2 weeks
AEW.
away, 3 weeks away. No, for WWE.
Oh yeah,
So
it'd be if it's July 6th,
one,
two
two, like
or
2-ish
yeah,
weeks.
two. If you're
One,
counting
two,
this
three,
week, it'd be
3 weeks
three.
away.
Yeah,
So now that they already started the whole Cody thing with Solo, but like you're talking about, you now have 3 weeks to build a program. You really only have 3 shows, right? For you have 3 Raws and 3 SmackDowns in between the next pay per view. So you
yeah.
have to build up a challenger for Bailey now
Which
in the next 3 weeks and tell a story that
will be
makes
difficult.
sense for it to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like, yeah, some of the guys that aren't on the card, like for this past show, have already had stuff. Like they're building tension with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller
yeah.
with DIY. So like, okay, that'll probably be at,
That'll pay off at Money in the Bank.
I would
Hopefully.
guess. I mean, they are going to have the 2 Money in the Bank matches for the men and the women, and that'll take up a decent amount of time on the card. If you're having like a 3 or 4 hour show,
Ooh,
if you're having a,
that's what I
you're
want to do
probably
at
going
the
to
end.
have like a 4 hour show, huh?
I want to see how close we can get to what the six is it 6 members for Money in the Bank.
I think so.
We should try to take a guess at that just for future purposes. I want to see how close we can get to
Why don't we
the.
do that next week with?
I guess that, yeah. Well, yeah. I keep forgetting we're
With
missing
when
somebody.
KJ's back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Left you.
See, KJ, he
I
forgot
know,
about it.
man.
It's fucked up, bro. Uh, I miss you. If that makes you feel any better, probably not, because I know you like him more than me. But that's besides the point.
Uh, just different
No, but
shades of the same white. That's fine. Um,
you're like eggshell, and I'm like,
yeah.
whatever the other thing is that's white. I don't know. I forget my white
Buttercream
color.
and eggshell.
Buttercream. Yeah.
Oh
uh,
gosh.
so we said we were going to talk about the results of the show. So Cody Cody beat AJ in an I Quit match. It was a fine little match
I didn't like the finish.
for an I Quit match. They've done it before. I
Have
know
they?
AEW did something similar a bunch of weeks back with Edge and Christian. I'm sorry, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. Um, but they've done that before where they like Cena's had that finish before where like he was gonna hit somebody with something and they quit before and
Mm.
then he hit him with it anyway, kind of thing. Or I think about the Batista one. Him and Batista, he had him on top of the car
Yeah.
and he said I quit, but then he threw him off of the fucking thing anyway through the stage and blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
they've
That's
done
true.
that kind of spot before, so like I'm fine with it. Whatever,
I
that's
just
fine.
wanted the payoff in that one to be a little bit more than that. Which I mean, I guess inherently he does beat the shit out of him after he even quits. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So okay, you're not going to get the same level of violence as AEW. So I
which
do
is
laugh
true.
because, the AEW fans that hate watch the WWE shows to like bitch about what WWE is doing and it always makes me laugh because it's like, oh, you want AEW to do things that WWE does. Okay, but you want WWE to do things that AEW does. So like, I don't
Who's really the hypocrite?
like you're all hypocrites. Fuck
Yeah.
you all. Like all you tribalistic motherfuckers are hypocrites. Do I think that AEW could do certain things better that WWE is doing? Yes. And do I think that they should do it because WWE is doing it? No, I just think I think WWE is doing certain things well that AEW could incorporate, just like I think AEW is doing certain things well that WWE could incorporate, like not having fucking 20-minute ads in between their matches. That's so for anybody who's like, oh, these guys only fucking, cock gobble fucking WWE and blah 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 blah. Like, no, dude. Like, I legitimately have problems with some of the things that they do, just like I have legitimate problems with some of the things AEW does. Some of their stuff takes me out of it. Some of the shit takes me out
Yeah.
of it. Dude, I'm old, and I'm not. I'm 36, and to people on the internet that means I'm old. But like,
we're
A
boomers in spirit.
3-hour show is more than enough for me, man. Like
Yeah,
I can't, and again, I work 40 plus 50 some odd hours a week sometimes. Like I don't want to sit through a fucking 5-hour show. I don't.
yeah,
If you're doing it for like WrestleMania and All In, because All In's like their big show, I'm cool with that, right? Like WrestleMania deserves to have longer times, All In deserves to have longer times. That's fine. But boy, oh boy, do I not want to sit through like a 5-hour fucking random fucking pay per view that's not one of their big pay per views.
yeah.
And then I'm just,
Is this the year that SummerSlam's 2 nights, or is that
no, they're doing that either next
2025?
year or the year after.
Okay,
Yeah, I can't remember if it's, but
that's an interesting choice.
well, they've always treated SummerSlam
Like the mid-year.
like summer version of WrestleMania, which is fine if they're gonna utilize the 2 nights the way they're utilizing WrestleMania
Yeah,
and having like big marquee fucking huge ass matches, that's fine. Let's wait until it happens to see if it's worth it. If they do a 2-night bullshit show where they could have definitely taken out a bunch of the shit and like what did we say? What was the last AEW pay per view where we could have been like, hey, listen, we could have taken some of those matches out and just kind of kept the pay per view a little shorter, and I'd
yeah.
have been fine with that, right? So now, if WWE does 2 nights for SummerSlam and they fucking suck, then we can go, all right, guys, don't do that again.
Just
Like, do
one
it for
night.
WrestleMania
One
because you
night.
guys have been doing that well, but please don't fucking do it for this again because it just didn't. Either book it better next year or please just go back to one night.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that. Yeah, so anyway, AJ quit, set up Solo and the Bloodline attacking Cody, which then KO and Randy came out. I don't know if you saw that Randy did a little tease. He was kind of staring at the title
Yeah.
on Cody's shoulder.
He's hearing
Um,
voices.
I think that'll be
It's
fun eventually. They definitely deserve to have a match. Um,
Cody versus Randy for the belt inside the prison that Ted DiBiase is being kept in. A special guest referee.
Winner has to pay their taxes first, or whatever the fucking line.
First one to win gets the conjugal visit.
Yeah, oh,
I will say, so MVP of that match goes to Cody Rhodes' mother, who slapped the shit out of AJ like
and called
5
him an asshole.
times.
Yeah, that was funny.
Like the first one, I go, okay. And then like 3 more happen. I go, I don't know if those were planned.
Yeah,
Those don't look like he was ready for those.
like Mama Rhodes, you're getting a little carried away here, bro.
And then I did like the chair shot, which is one of the first times I've seen them do kind of a headshot chair shot. No,
Oh, when he threw it at him?
obviously not like a full over the head, but even just doing the kind of the RVD throw where it hits him and he
He
falls
just
into
kind of
the
chucked
table.
it at him. The way the table broke kind of took me out of it for a second, but like, I did find it funny. Like that spot was kind of fun.
Yeah.
The hang 'em high guy that we follow on Twitter, the
Yeah.
guy who does the Sonic rings,
Yeah.
he did double Sonic rings for
Oh,
that
that's
once with the
great.
chair shot, and then the
when
next one he went
falls
through the
through.
table. It was great. So that was fun. Yeah, I mean they set up the bloodline stuff, which you figured was going to happen because I think we all kind of agree that it's The Rock is like the one kind of leading behind the shadows kind of
Yeah.
thing for Solo, which will set that up, and then that'll eventually set up the whole
We'll have another
big
4v4 war
Civil War
games.
thing. Yeah.
But this time without Roman Reigns.
No, I think Roman will be.
You think he'll be back by that time?
I do.
When do you think we set up war games? Do you think that's SummerSlam?
Probably.
Or
Because The Rock's gonna come back for SummerSlam more than likely, which would set up you.
ooh, do you
If
think
if they're making SummerSlam the big event that it is, having whether it just they come back in a capacity of like a big return,
yeah.
having The Rock and Roman pop back in, I think is crucial. I do miss. I mean, yeah, okay, The Rock coming around is great. I miss Roman. I do. I enjoy having Roman around. I know, oh, he only works X amount of times a year, but I mean, the dude is must see TV when he's on. Like
Yeah.
his absence is felt for sure. Um, I just saw a picture of him recently. He looks like he's back in fantastic shape again. Like,
Yeah.
not that he was like in bad shape, but you could tell, like,
You can take a break
you
for a
know,
bit, yeah.
yeah.
Especially if you're not
So that
maintaining
didn't
a
happen.
regiment, or you'd be
Right.
surprised how quickly it goes the other way.
Well, and it's hard. Those guys were on the road a lot, so it's hard for them to get in constant workouts. Like, you see it happen all the time. Like, look at Roman specifically, and obviously like leukemia and stuff like that plays a big part in it. But when he first came back after leaving from COVID, he came back insanely jacked, six pack, all that stuff, and then a couple of months of him working constantly, being on the road constantly. He lost some of the abs, some of
Yeah.
the definition and stuff. And again, that's not a knock on him. These motherfuckers are on the road constantly. They can't get the same meal and workout type of shit in. It is what it is. Like, we're not here to body shame, man.
Hey, that's what I love watching. How was it? Shayna Baszler. If you follow her on TikTok, she shows kind of some of the stuff they eat through the week, and like every
Yeah,
Monday's like Stew Monday or something. And
yeah, yeah.
man, I got some. I'm like, fuck, that looks good as fuck, bro. Like,
Uh huh.
I'd chomp that shit down.
Oh yeah.
But no, I follow a lot of them where like Braun Strowman. Like I like watching Braun Strowman's workouts and hearing about his diet because he's on such a crazy diet. With the amount of
Well, those
calorie
those
intake, and
yeah.
where it's like good because he eats a shit ton of, like, and not when I say a shit ton of food, you think I'm making like shit to McDonald's. Like, no, like he eats a shit ton, but it's a very distinct type of
Chicken breasts
food.
and, like, yeah,
Yeah, like that's a level of commitment, man. Like, and
a
he
lot of protein, but that's common for, like power lifters and
yeah,
strongmen and stuff like that. Like, tons of protein. I mean, there was a point in time I worked for a company inside of I was in a mall. Like, my store was in a mall. Um, and I would get out late, and I was going to, the only gym I had around me was a Planet Fitness that was 24 hours. Um, Not that I love Planet Fitness, but I love their hours.
yeah,
So it worked out for me. I would get out of work, and that was the only gym that was still open. So fuck yeah. Plus, they're relatively inexpensive compared to a lot of other gyms that don't offer that same hour range. But I would go. There's a Chinese buffet attached to my mall, and I would go in there, get a to-go box of just like fucking meats, right? Like some
yeah.
meats and some rice, just to like get a bunch of protein. And I'd be going to the gym after work and just fucking lifting and running and doing stuff. And like, you know, you can't tell at the moment, but I was in phenomenal shape at that
One
point.
point,
Like,
yeah, one point or another, we were both, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I show my Onyx pictures of meals I'd have, where it was like just these huge, very intricate, but it's all like protein and vegetable
yeah,
and
yeah,
healthy
yeah,
carb, and I was like, yeah, this was a meal. She goes, that was a, yeah, that was when you are in the gym 5 to 7 days a week, your caloric intake is way different than when you're not doing that
right,
5 to 7 days a week.
yeah. Like, again, if I'm upfront and honest. I told you before, like, I was at my heaviest, around Christmas time. I'm down 20 pounds from Christmas.
Yeah,
And a big part of that was counting calories. And I'm not even working out at the moment. Now I'm going to start going to the gym again because I have a bit of a better work schedule that I'm
yeah,
not working
can
as,
actually be consistent
like,
with.
I worked under 45 hours for the first time in so long that I was like, oh shit, I'm like on vacation. Like, I have energy, and that part of that is I'm not working as much, and I have lost weight. So like I have way more energy than I used to. So now I'm like, all right, I can go back to the gym. I can start doing everything I want to do. So yeah, now my caloric intake is gonna go up because I'm burning more. Like, whatever. We're
Yeah,
not here to be a health podcast by any means, but yeah, those meals are nuts. Like, but I understand because I was doing that when I was going to the gym, and I was going at least 5 to 6 times a week. I was constantly just loading up on fucking protein, protein, protein. Dude, for breakfast most mornings I have peanut butter and banana.
yeah.
Like, just to get that energy and fucking, and feel full. Like, it's great. Um anyway, matches.
I know, man.
We
We've
keep
only gone
fucking
through one.
yeah. I don't remember the card order. I'm gonna be honest
It
with you.
was AJ Cody, uh,
Opened. I know that.
triple threat tag match.
Okay, and then so we had. the Jade Cargill botch, which she's got to go back to developmental.
Wasn't
Listen,
her
everybody
fault.
fucks
It
up.
wasn't her fault.
Everybody fucks up. And like, had she been the only one to have an issue with the ropes, I'd have been like, yeah, she slipped. You know, that was her fault. She slipped. She fucked up. And listen, everybody has moments. Um, like we kind of opened the episode with. I mean, the ropes were kind of the enemy of the
Multiple
show.
people.
Yeah, and like, all right, thankfully she didn't get hurt. She just kind of tumbled, and she made it work. And we prediction wise, I did post on Twitter our predictions. We did predict Cody was going to win. We also predicted that Bianca and Jade were going to retain, and they did not.
Yeah.
It went to Alva Fire and Isla Dawn.
Makes sense though. I agree with that decision. I
I'm
think
cool with it.
I think inherently the way the women's division is, especially for because what are they, SmackDown or Raw? I know they were going between because they were obviously champions where they were traveling, but
They were on one and they did move to the other, and I think they moved to.
I want to say it was SmackDown because that's what in my head I keep telling myself.
It's possible.
Um,
We're checking
I think it's let them have some singles runs and kind of push that a little
Well,
bit.
I don't think they're gonna split them up just yet.
Well, maybe not entirely, but like allow them to start having some kind of singles matches and
Sure.
push them as a group, but not inherently as champions, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because those are NXT belts, correct? That's
No.
okay. So they're
remember
just
they.
that's right.
If you remember, they
Yeah.
did away with the
That's
NXT
right.
women's tag titles. They merged the two titles
Into that.
Was it Ronda and Shayna
I want to say it was, yeah.
against them?
Yeah.
They were the last NXT women's tag champions. Isla and Alba Fire. And then it was like all right, so we merged we did a unification for the belt. Okay, that's fine.
And then
Should have let them take it, and then they just been kind of floundering around since then. It was
didn't
all
they
right, what are we
didn't they
doing
do
with
the
them?
heel turn on one of them, or is that unfortunately that's the the unfortunate part of the NXT is there's a few people in the women's division that look relatively the same as far
I mean,
as like
those two definitely don't look the same.
No, I mean like other groups look kind of
Oh.
like, because wasn't this they lost and then they had the heel turn on Isla Dawn where she beat shit out of her after the. Am I thinking of the wrong group?
Probably.
Okay, I have to double check my.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with NXT as much as I should.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's but no, they it was a whole thing with like they should have won the unification match, come up to the main roster, all of that. And then they did come up to the main roster and then really didn't do much for a while and like weren't on TV. I don't know if somebody got hurt or what, and then they came back and they were doing stuff and like nothing really came of it. So like I'm cool with them winning.
Yeah.
And they did pin
Shayna?
They pinned Shayna. So they didn't even pin either Jade or Bianca. So like you figure if they were gonna lose, they weren't gonna be the ones to take the pin. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, obviously everybody bitching about the botch, the rope spot. It happens.
Everybody does it.
She just did a fucking springboard at the last event and it was pulled off perfectly fine. So like let's not sit here and dog on people because they don't wrestle for the company you want them to. I don't fucking know. It's weird.
Yeah. I think after that was the Gable Sammy match, which to me I thought was the best match of the night as far as just the storytelling, the match itself.
So
I was surprised Gable didn't win.
As far as I'm aware, he did resign.
Okay.
Which means they're definitely gonna set up the Creed brothers joining him,
and then just
after
absolutely
Otis
turning on
away.
Otis. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that we did discuss that last week, and I do think that that's basically going to happen. I'm fairly certain. I didn't read for certain that he was re-signed, but I did see a lot of people mentioning it because, again, you have the people that want to just bitch about WWE. That were like, oh, Triple H re-signed Drew and fucking Gable and made them lose, and it's like
storytelling.
Yeah, it makes sense when you think about what's about to happen for both people.
Yeah.
Um, Having Gable win doesn't really give him a reason to turn on Otis and introduce the Creed brothers as part of his collective.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, don't get me wrong. I very much want Gable to have that title.
And I think by SummerSlam, if not at SummerSlam, he will.
I mean, he has to, right?
Because
Like
that
it's
just, I love
same thing with
Sammy, but they're not really doing much with him as a champion other than kind of the Gable thing.
yeah,
And then when they randomly throw Bronson Reed into feuds that last a
right.
week.
Which he deserves better because he's a good talent. So but it's the same thing with Drew. I very much want Drew to hold the title, but and we'll get there momentarily. But I perfectly understand why he lost, and you can agree with it currently. But I hope after listening to why I'm fairly certain they did it, you would go, I can kind of see where that makes sense. The next match, so we did the three. So the next match was the women's title,
Yeah,
right? The
Bailey
Bailey
and
and
Piper. Which it wasn't a bad match. I mean, I think all around was good. I still, much
Rey
like,
Mysterio looked great in a skirt. It was
oh
no,
Lord.
I love Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
I'm also not as offended. I know Def Rebel gets a bad rap for their music choices because they're the band that does all the entrance music. Um, Having the Samantha Irvin Chelsea Green
Yeah.
intro instead of it's Chelsea, like, yeah, I I can see how that looks tacky, but like, I don't know, man. That's such a big part of her, and I'm fairly certain they're not on the same show anymore. Like
Yeah.
Samantha Irvin isn't the ring announcer. No, yeah, it's Chelsea's on SmackDown now,
Yeah. And Samantha
and
Irvin's on
Samantha
Raw.
Irvin's on Raw. So like now everybody's still getting a chance to hear Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine with that. That's
Oh, made me think, and I'm gonna forget if we don't talk about it real quick. Fucking Pat McAfee doing the ring announcer for Drew and Finn
uh
was
yeah.
phenomenal.
Also, I can't imagine Finn actually weighs 225 pounds, but
Fucking 0% body fat
body
on a
fat, yeah.
225 frame. Yeah, I don't believe he weighs 225. If he weighs 225, that would blow my mind.
Maybe like 205,
Yeah.
210 ish, but yeah.
But for the bum ass Judgment Day, I just like they let Pat McAfee curse just whenever he wants. Like he
Oh yeah.
just they pay the fine. They don't give a shit.
And they also like let him do the little like football circle, like the
Yeah.
sportscaster thing with the circles and the um yeah, I do like that Bailey won with the crucifix driver instead.
Yeah, I
I thought that was cool. She's not going to be able to do that to everybody.
yeah.
If she wrestles like a Zelina Vega, like she can't really do that to
Snap her
Zelina
neck
because
on that
Zelina,
one.
yeah,
Jesus.
doing it to
Turn into a Mortal
uh,
Kombat finisher.
Piper, who has the frame to do that kind of like that's fine.
Yeah.
And the match was fine. The match wasn't bad. It wasn't like a stinker of a match or anything. Obviously, the investment wasn't quite there. Um, and I think we all kind of knew Bailey was going to win, and I'm pretty sure we predicted that.
Well,
Um,
I
I know you
specifically,
were
yeah,
you
when
were yeah,
my
but
girl
I think you were
Piper,
doing that just to
devil's
say
advocate, yeah.
yeah. Also, I think we predicted Sammy to win. So our predictions, we went 4 for 5 in
Yeah.
predictions. I think because I do think we said Priest was going to retain, or I at least said
I
Priest was
feel like
going
I
to retain.
remember, yeah, we said that I think it was we hoped that it was Drew, but
Pretty
story
sure Priest
wise we
was
were
going to
pretty
do
sure it
that.
was gonna be Priest.
So I'm fairly certain we went 4 for 5 in our predictions. But yeah, so Priest did retain against Drew, and obviously them being in Scotland and all of that, you can go, oh well, Drew should have won in his home country and this and that and blah 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 blah. But
But see, Sammy didn't win in Canada, so like it's just
right,
because we're in a home country doesn't inherently mean that that person's gonna win. Now,
well,
doesn't sometimes mean that? Yeah,
not only that, having Punk show up and the way they cut that camera angle was great. having Punk show up and then do the meme with the kneeling in front of the grave thing with the peace sign was great. He low blowed him,
Yeah.
did a bit of heel work because while he's not technically the heel in Scotland, he certainly is.
In that
Um,
scenario, yeah.
yeah. The other thing too is this was Priest's first or second title
Second
defense.
title defense, because it was Jey
Second title
Uso
defense.
was the first one.
All right, yeah. So it's his second title defense. You really gonna have him lose it on his second title defense? Not only that, um, Gunther is getting a title shot.
Yeah.
So if you put it on Drew, and then he holds it for a month and a half, 2 months for SummerSlam,
Yeah. And then
do you
loses
have
it to
him drop
Gunther.
it to Gunther, or do you have Gunther not win? Right. So like it's a weird spot to be put in. Plus, Drew and CM Punk don't need a title.
No, yeah.
Like,
The heat
and
behind
him
that's
not
enough.
having the title is doing really well for their story. Um, so I think it makes perfect sense to keep it on Damien at least till SummerSlam and
But
have Gunther be the one that takes it from him.
on that other side, they need to start working on the Gunther part of it, because I am kind of tired of Drew getting title shot after title shot and losing every single one of them.
Yeah, I can't imagine if they have a title match at Money in the Bank, like if Damien is defending at Money in the Bank, that it can't be Drew. It's not gonna be
Yeah.
Drew, but it certainly shouldn't
Because
be.
you had Drew lose like what, 3 times to Seth, finally beat him at WrestleMania just to lose it to Damien. You know, and then you've had
Right.
him get it again, and now he's lost to Damien again. Like, we got to put somebody else in here. Like,
Yeah.
it's even if it's just like a one-time thing, like they did with Jey Uso, where he's clearly not going to win, but we got to put somebody else for him to feud with. If that's what you want to call what they did, was a feud.
Right. Right. Right.
But something, it either start the Gunther story or pick somebody else, because at this point, Drew's just, we've used Drew as the bad guy in that scenario too many times.
Now it did play into him losing his shit on the referee, and like if you saw like the after the match, and he was kind of going around and fucking losing his mind. And,
Yeah.
props to Wade Barrett too for like, oh, CM Punk should get fired. Like he had his boys back and all that stuff. Like that was cool to see. Like I did enjoy that. Um, but yeah, I think it made the most sense. Obviously, you consider and be like, oh, the crowd didn't go home happy because like the hometown hero didn't win and blah blah blah. Like I get it, but hot shotting it to Drew for him to either drop it or have Gunther lose is going to be stupid.
Yeah.
Um,
It would have
you
pissed him
know,
off now or later, kind of thing. Or
right?
and I
Like, oh,
think the
okay, we
later
sent
would have
them
been
home
more.
happy. Like, okay, but you can't send the crowd home happy every time. The heel does have to win eventually, or like and in that case, Drew was the baby face. They were in Scotland. Like
Yeah.
the baby face does have to lose. Like you can't. It's a it has to set something else up. The payoff still has to make sense, but it makes sense why they did it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that was Clash at the Castle. Again, by no means was it a terrible show, but it wasn't like
What the fuck?
ah,
That last one did not want to go out.
there you go. I was like, oh shit, he's got trick handles or something. Like, what the fuck is that?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Um, yeah, so that was Clash at the Castle. It was a fine show. It was okay. It was it wasn't anything to write home about, but it wasn't terrible.
It was a
I don't know.
standard
People,
midterm kind of pay-per-view.
yeah, it was like a special event type of show. It was fine, serviceable. It was good matches. Again, the formula of a 5 hour, 3 hour show with 5 matches and a bunch of ads in between and commercials and stuff. Listen, I get that you're trying to advertise and you're trying to build the stuff, but come on, man. What the fuck are we doing? Like that's too much for me. Too much for me. Like we could have sprinkled in another match, maybe two, and taken some of that shit out and been fine.
Yeah.
Um,
At least one of two tag titles be on the line. But then you had was Against All Odds
Yeah,
the
because
same night?
TNA was the night before.
Oh, it was
They
Friday.
had
Okay.
10 matches. And
Did they?
again,
Yeah.
too much. You had Sammy Callahan against Jonathan Gresham, uh, Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich versus Allison Kay and Marty Bell, Mike Santana and Steve Macklin against the Rascals, PCO and Rich
Said the
Swan.
Rascals.
That's Trey Miguel and Zach Wentz,
Yeah.
who was Wesley's uh, tag partner in NXT before he got fired.
Gotcha.
Wesley, yeah,
I think it was, yeah, I think
thank.
it was Wesley.
Um, PCO and Rich Swan, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers against the Nemeth brothers. So Nick Nemeth, formerly Dolph
Yeah.
Ziggler, and his brother Ryan, who I forgot left AEW and is in TNA
I
now.
yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know he had officially left AEW.
Frankie Kazarian against Joe Hendry. Mustafa Ali against Trent Seven. Josh Alexander
The Ali
and
match was
Eric
good. I
Young.
did remember seeing that. I thought
Yeah,
I would say I think WWE fumbled him because
hard. And they
seeing
fired him like right
seeing
before
him
he was
now,
supposed to have a match.
yeah, like seeing him now with the title, it's like, oh my god, like he actually could do some really good title work if they had a fucking let him.
Uh, Back when 205 Live was a thing, him and Buddy Murphy slash Matthews
Yeah,
were putting on phenomenal matches. Him and Cedric Alexander were putting on phenomenal matches. Like him and NXT, like I think at one point he was the cruiserweight champion for 205 Live, and then cruiserweight kind of went to like NXT. He was involved in the North American title thing and got fired right before he was supposed to have that match.
yeah,
If you remember, they had to
mm-hmm.
like pivot with that. It was fucking stupid. Um, the big thing. So Josh Alexander returned. That was cool. For anybody that follows TNA, Josh Alexander's an awesome person to have there. Um, Jordan Grace had her open challenge, and it was NXT's Tatum Paxley, which was awesome to see an NXT talent go to TNA pay per view.
Yeah,
Again, I know people are bitching because Tatum Paxley's a nobody, even though she's, if you're actually watching the product, she is heavily like featured. She was heavily featured during Lyra Valkyria's NXT Women's Title reign. I understand. Again, I will play devil's advocate here. I do understand, and I even tweeted this live. Like I live tweeted this. I understand that Jordan Grace, the TNA Knockouts champion, coming to face Roxanne Perez is a much bigger deal, right? Jordan Grace is a champion. WWE didn't send a champion to face their champ. Like I do get that. Um, they still put on a great match.
yeah,
Tatum Paxley is a great talent. Um, I think it's still cool the fact that they're still sending, because so far it's been one sided, right? Mickey
yeah.
James showed up at the last Royal Rumble, then Jordan Gray shows up at this Royal Rumble. Now she's wrestling on NXT, blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's one sided. It's one sided. They did send Tatum Paxley over. I think they're opening the door for more
Which is great.
back and forth.
I think that's an
Um,
excellent, and that's one of those Paula Vest things where I think this is an excellent door to open with a company that has the potential to once again have excellent product like they did back in the early 2000s. And I
I was
think,
a big TNA fan.
yeah,
I
I mean,
was.
I was for a while because we talked about that in the past where, there was a strong arm part there where WWE was really bad,
Yeah.
and
Well,
TNA,
it's the same thing AEW had to deal with, right? So when AEW came in, WWE was really bad. Like 2019 WWE was not good.
yeah,
You had Baron Corbin and Roman as like one of the main things, and that was the whole dog food fucking they wiped the dog food. Like that was all rough. Like 2020 wasn't terrible. I mean, obviously, with COVID, like
COVID,
they
yeah,
had to pivot and all that stuff. But like 2018, 2019 WWE wasn't phenomenal. And so AEW coming in the way it did at the time that they did was great for them. But then WWE got better. So like, you are seeing a hit in certain things, and same thing with TNA. Like TNA was doing really good numbers for a long time because WWE was not performing at the same level, and TNA was doing a lot of cool things. And yeah, don't get me wrong, like they definitely booked some things in a way that they shouldn't have. And we can talk about the whole Hogan Bischoff thing coming in and them trying to move to Monday nights, and like um
Yeah, because
yeah,
I
a
think
lot
they
of that, like,
were what, Thursdays originally
yes,
before.
they were
That's
Thursdays. Yeah.
because it was
Which is
usually
funny because they're back to Thursdays.
yeah. But I mean, I think partnering with them is a good transition.
Speaking of partnerships, AJ Styles will be wrestling for Noah, which is a Japan-based organization.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Um,
I didn't.
they just announced it like today, I think.
Okay.
So he's going to be wrestling in Japan. I don't remember who he's wrestling. I'm going to be honest with you. I just remember seeing the announcement.
Yeah.
Um,
But
so
see,
good
that's
for
good.
them.
It's you're doing the things that AEW did that was successful. Where you're giving some freedoms here to like, hey, let's go have you make an appearance on this show, or hey, let's work with this show
Well,
and get some matches that people want to see. Of I've always wanted to see, so and so versus so and so, and
and the thing that makes me laugh is, and again, like I do feel like I'm criticizing. I'm not criticizing AEW this week. I'm criticizing the idiots on social media, the AEW super fans that do make it hard to be a fan of the product sometimes, because the way that they discuss things, you would swear Tony Khan was the first person to ever like walk on water. Um, it, is the term forbidden door something that AEW kind of coined? Yes. Is AEW the first company to work with other companies in terms of talent exchanges? Absolutely not. First of all, the NWA was a multifaceted, this guy's, we have the NWA for this place and
yeah,
this town. But also you had guys coming in from, when it was all like regions and stuff. You had guys from Georgia coming in down to Florida and working the Florida and like all that stuff. Okay. Let's talk on the bigger scale, right? WCW worked with Japan a ton. They worked with New Japan in the 90s.
Hogan went over there. Part of
They
his
had they had
464 matches for 365 days.
yeah. But they had Japanese talent come over. They had talent go over that way. Fuck, they made a video game together.
Yeah.
WCW versus the World. It was the first THQ Aki title. Um, because I'm a big wrestling game nerd, so like that was a fun. You had Sting up against
Go ahead. Name one.
Japanese
Say-
talent. I couldn't remember. Because I don't remember who was current at that time, and I was like fucking 10 when that game came out. Maybe not even. I think that game came out in 95, 96, so I was probably 8 or 9.
I was born.
So my access to fucking uh, New Japan talent rosters and shit was like not great.
Ah, you're not a real fan then.
Yeah, I know. Fuck me. I'm a fake fan. But also like WWE worked with the NWA. They had NWA tag titles. Like if you go back to the Attitude Era,
Yeah.
they had the New Midnight Express holding the NWA tag titles. They had what the fuck is his name? But they had somebody holding like a NWA title of sorts on Raw. Like
Hmm.
they had. I mean, fuck, man. Even years ago, they had Jushin Liger at one of the NXT shows against Tyler Breeze.
Yeah. That's true.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like they've worked with companies before. They've done stuff in the past. I mean, at one point, WWF and ECW were working together. They had Tommy Dreamer and or was it, I think it was Tommy Dreamer and Rob Van Dam show up on an episode of Raw, and
Yeah.
Jerry the King Lawler showed up on ECW, and like you know what I mean, like so companies working together is not an AEW thing. I don't get me wrong. I commend them for doing it. Um, But now and again, it's one of those things that
Now it's a
AEW was doing.
criticism because they're
Well, it's not even that. I think it's something good that they're doing. Like it's that WWE decided, hey, that's working for them to an extent. We should be doing that. Good. Like that's something that should work if you're doing it right. I know that the running gag is like, oh, they didn't make a video package for this person. How am I supposed to know who this is? Because that was the criticism for a lot of AEW, New Japan stuff. Like, hey man, don't you want to call me a fake fan or whatever? Like, I didn't have access to that stuff for a long time, and again, I work a
yeah,
lot. Like, I can barely keep up with the wrestling that we're currently following between two companies. And even then, how often do we talk about NXT on this
yeah,
podcast? Almost never, right? So we're talking about Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, and Collision. That's four fucking shows that we're struggling to keep up with now because we all work full time. The three
yeah.
of us work all full time. So now I have to add in fucking NXT and Rampage and I think NWA Power is still going. I don't remember.
TNA.
TNA and fucking New Japan and Ring of Honor and like, come on, man. Like, it's it's a lot. And like, don't get me wrong. If you are a wrestling fan and a hardcore wrestling fan who has that kind of time, you are fucking spoiled right now because you are getting wrestling out the asshole, which is great. And I'm happy for that person that can consume the amount of wrestling they want to do. Um, I'm just not at that point where I can do that, even though this is my job. Although
Yeah.
it's not paying me, so it's not really my job. This is my side project that I'm thoroughly enjoying doing this, but I also can't commit to that
So
while
many
I'm
hours in a
still.
day.
Yeah, I do have to sleep at some point. We say this at 1:42 in the morning, but again, it's just one of those things. Um, the other big thing with TNA we didn't mention, Jeff Hardy did return. I guess his contract had expired Thursday, and he showed up in TNA Friday.
Yeah.
Um, so that was cool. I hope Jeff is doing well. I hope he's happy. He's clean. He's healthy. That's the main stuff. Like I'm at the age where like certain things, um, I worry about things that I don't think a lot of people worry about. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you shouldn't be. No, I want this motherfucker to be okay, and I want him to be healthy. Um, you know, it is what it is. I
But
did make a
even then, now,
your old win
oh
joke
yeah,
earlier to my wife. We were watching a show, and this girl got out of a tub and like jumped her husband to like have sex, and my wife goes, "Oh my god, the sheets are gonna be wet. She couldn't dry off first." I said, "You know how you know you're getting old?" And it's like you make the first thing you thought about was, "Oh my god, I'm gonna have to change the sheets after this."
oh lord,
But it's just one of those things. Like I worry about things that, like and I laugh too because like I'm not supposed to worry about AEW's finances. But if AEW's finances aren't great, the likelihood of them staying in business is not fantastic, which doesn't do good things for the wrestling business, right? Like
yeah,
you can sit here and not like AEW, but wanting AEW to go under is fucking stupid. Even if you don't like AEW, you have to thank AEW to an extent for what they made WWE do.
yep,
They made WWE be better.
yeah.
So even if you don't like it, same thing with AEW. Like you don't have to like WWE, but them being around is making AEW be what it is. Like
Competition breeds perfection.
right. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, look at the way people talk about the Monday Night Wars between WCW and WWF. Like it made both shows. Now you could sit here and say that there was a point in time where WCW just continuously dropped the ball and WWF just continuously got better, but getting your ass kicked for 82 weeks straight in the ratings will make you start doing shit to make your show better. And that's exactly what WWF did. They made their show better and they took it and fucking ran with it. Like, you know, I don't know. It's just stupid that we have so much tribalism for like unnecessary things. And of course you have the accounts that are like pro one way and anti the other way and blah 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 blah.
Yeah. And even with
Just enjoy
even
what you
with the three
enjoy,
of us,
man.
like
Like
we inherently joke, but we separate the stuff because it makes it easier to kind of get everything between the three of us.
yeah.
You know, where yeah, like KJ's definitely, you know, a big AEW guy. And that's like, yeah, do I shit on him for that and he shits on me. It's not because I don't enjoy watching AEW, but like
I mean
Ola
sometimes I
says,
don't, but sometimes I
yeah,
do.
it's 40 hours a week and I some weeks I struggle just to get through the WWE stuff that we get through.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, man,
And
now I
especially
gotta,
when you're talking about two pay-per-views and this
yeah.
and that and blah blah blah. Fuck.
And unfortunately, my biggest complaint AEW is the story. Not all the storylines are easy to keep up with and transition with.
Right.
You know, you do
And I
have a
don't want
lot
to
of,
be insulted for not being able to watch like and that was my biggest criticism. And again, it's not a criticism directly against the company, it's the fan base.
yeah,
The company should do a better job with telling you who somebody is. Again, if I don't watch New Japan and Minoru Suzuki comes on, I I know the name and I'm familiar with his work for the most part, especially lately. But
yeah,
if you would have asked me 3 years ago who Minoru Suzuki was, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't really know. Does that make me a terrible person? I don't think it does. It just makes me a busy person.
yeah,
I work a lot, dude. Like it, and it's. Would I like to be able to watch more wrestling? Fuck yeah, I would. I would. Do I get that opportunity though? No. If I had it my way, man, I would be sitting here fucking getting a little stoned and watching some wrestling. I'm cool with it. Like I would love to put on some fun matches and just get a little fucking toasty and do my thing, man. I'm cool.
yeah.
I don't have that kind of time in my life.
Nope.
I don't. I would love to have that kind of time in my life. And for those that have that time in their life, man, kudos to you. Because I am envious of your position.
But if you
I
come
mean,
for us
I
on our
also
Twitter
touch
page,
vaginas, but that's besides the point.
yeah, if you come for us on our Twitter page, we will not hold back.
Nah, fuck you.
I did want to touch on something just before we kind of wrap it up for the night. I did see where Jordan Grace, I guess, is retiring the earrings because she did
Yeah,
describe that
because she
it
she did lose
absolutely
her
did
earrings
get
in
that
the
was what caused her
yeah.
to bleed. Is it got stuck
Well,
in
it got ripped
her?
out.
Yeah,
It like completely. And as somebody who I don't have them currently, but I had both these holes pierced. I did have this earring get ripped out. It's actually the last time I wore my earrings. Funny enough, I've had them ripped out twice. Uh, once was a volleyball net while I was in high school.
Ugh.
I was walking by a volleyball net. Somebody smacked the ball into the net, and I'm assuming they did it on purpose. But the net caught my earring and pulled it out. The last time I had my earrings was actually about 5-ish years ago. And that was because my, at the time, very small puppy, who is very large now, decided to vampire bite me on the ear and ripped my fucking
ooh,
earring out. And since then, I have not put them back in because I was like, well, I'll let it heal. And then I was like, well, if he's going to do it again, I don't want to put him back in. And since then, he's never fucked with my ear like that. But
never
I
know.
just never did
Tomorrow
it.
could be the day.
I'll fucking re-pierce them again. It's fine. But oh, one other thing before we
Yes,
cut out, I did want to touch on. I did write down uh, Wyatt 6.
yes, okay. I have not
They
kept up
are
with a lot.
gonna be rooted a little bit more in realism than
Okay,
previous Wyatt based things. I guess they're gonna do away with more of the supernatural and spooky stuff. They
is that?
might still keep some of it
I say,
spooky,
wasn't
but
that like
not so much.
90% of the whole Wyatt bit was the
Well, the
spookiness?
original Wyatt family was not.
Oh, okay.
And I think they're gonna have it kind of be a hybrid of like the whole cult like thing with some of the spooky aspects, which I'd be
Okay.
cool with too, because that's obviously the biggest knock on um, Bray's, you know, things where it's like he tells great stories, he's a great character, but like some of it's all spooky and supernatural. Sorry, I'm just
Have
throwing
they
my
have they
books back
given any
over there.
confirmations on who?
The list, as far as I'm aware, obviously, Bo
Yeah.
being Uncle Howdy. Um,
So was it
I've
confirmed that he was
seen,
Uncle Howdy from the jump?
yes.
Okay.
Um, Dexter Loomis.
That seems like such
Uh,
an odd one to throw in there. Like I don't
Not really. Just his
like I know he's
character
an
makes
odd guy, but like
yeah.
in the realm of that group, it
Um,
seems odd to me.
well, no, because it's Dexter Loomis and then Joe Gacy.
Yeah. Who they've already kind of hinted to in the last few weeks.
Eric Rowan.
Yeah, see, that one surprised me just for the pure fact I didn't think he'd come back.
It makes sense.
And then obviously probably Braun.
No.
Really? No Braun Strowman in that one.
Nikki Cross.
Could do without. I'm not
I
a
like
fan.
Nikki
I'm not a
Cross.
fan of Nikki Cross. Are they doing Nikki
Uh,
Cross instead of Alexa Bliss?
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
We won't really know until they do
Yeah,
it,
this is all speculation,
but
obviously. But
those were
besides,
the
like a
names I've
few,
seen thrown around. Because I have seen Braun thrown in there at one
yeah,
point, but not recently. And then Alexa was thrown in there at some point, but mostly I've seen it be um, Nikki Cross.
okay, yeah, that could be
So
interesting. Hopefully,
I think
what Money in the
as of
Bank?
this recording, I think they're showing up tomorrow.
Oh, okay, shit.
So they should be showing up on Monday. So if you're watching this after Raw, uh, let me know if
Yeah,
those
let
names were
us know if we're
correct.
right.
I don't, like I said, I don't know for certain. It's all speculation, but that's the information that I've been reading the most. Like the most I've seen about it being announced, and there's been a lot of. If you follow like the Uncle Howdy's like diary page or whatever that they have, and like it has alluded to each of those things for them, um, and then the QR codes and everything. Like they've had a lot of hints about different things. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it. Keep Bray's legacy alive. Let Bo take that mantle and run with it. He deserves it. Um, they never really got to tell that story because Bray got sick
yeah,
with Bo coming back like that. I was intrigued to see what happened with that. But now I'm okay with them doing less of this supernatural stuff. I don't mind it, but a lot of people are gonna shit on it if that's all it is.
yeah,
And like I said, I was a big fan of the Wyatt family before they got all spooky and supernatural. Like when he was just cult leader Bray, before he was the eater of worlds and was doing all the, whatever. Uh, I thought that was awesome. So I'd be intrigued to see like a very like cult like type of thing, and let that go
yeah.
and see where it goes.
Well, hopefully, they show up and it's we can get a better understanding. But I'm excited for that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
A good. Hopefully, they make it a good tribute to Bray. Um,
that would be ideal.
but I think that is where we are going to wrap up for the evening. It is going on 2:00, and it's
Yes,
way
it is.
longer than we should have gone. But
Yep, sure is.
that's what happens
We do that,
when he leaves and leaves us to our own devices.
and we just start going off on rants and tangents about shit. And
But
I had fun though.
yeah, always a pleasure. From here, from all of us, the cream of the crop, once again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers, stepfathers, and all that are relevant to their children. I hope you
And
all
to all
have.
you deadbeats, I hope you die
Go
in a
fuck
fire.
yourself. Hope you're first in the draft that's coming up.
Yeah.
But we will catch you guys on the other side of the ring. Good night.